back at it tonight after a big win over New Mexico over the weekend. They'll be taking on Grand Canyon at 8 o'clock. The line has swung. San Diego State was originally favored by 1.5. Now Grand Canyon is favored by 1.5. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 8 o'clock with Schaefer. Fletch get you on the pregame starting at 7. The Lakers had a big comeback win last night against the Denver Nuggets. They won 115-107. Luka had a triple-double. They were down 16 points at one point. They'll be back against the Clippers tomorrow night. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
Yeah, let's get it going. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to be taking over then. And then tonight, Aztecs basketball taking on Grand Canyon, 8 o'clock. Like Sammy just said, I'll be getting you going on starting at 7. A massive one for San Diego State because Grand Canyon just this past weekend took down Utah State, who had been unbeaten in conference. And that loss for Utah State actually turned into 2 straight losses for Utah State as they fell last night to UNLV. So busy couple of days here for San Diego State, who are looking to keep their perfect record going in Mountain West play. And we will be with you covering the game tonight. All right, on the show today, Eric Williams is going to be stopping by. He covers the NFL for Fox, specifically the NFC. So we'll talk about the NFC divisional round as well as the NFC championship coming up this weekend and all that fun stuff with E-Dub coming up at 1:30. We have some giveaways to give away today. Charlie Puth tickets are going to be given away on the show today for his April 22nd show at Viejas Arena, which you can buy at Ticketmaster.com or just keep listening for your chance to win. We also have a pair for next Wednesday's home game for San Diego State as they get ready to take on Colorado State. So keep listening throughout the show for those prizes. We will be giving them away. I do want to start in one very specific place, and Sammy Long's not going to be happy. I usually like to say, Sammy, are you ready to have a great show? And he says, yeah, I'm ready to have a great show. But today's a little different because at some point over the last 24 hours, I don't know when this match was played, but it was tennis.
It was played at night. It was at 7 o'clock.
Carlos Alcaraz absolutely screwed us. One of the best tennis players in the world decided to go ahead and say, you know what, Sammy Long, I see what you're saying. I see that you've been bragging about long shots and how good you are at tennis. And Sammy, for some reason, is really, really good at making tennis picks. And Carlos Alcaraz shaved off 1 point when we needed it. And Sammy, you were watching the match live. What happened?
I was very frustrated. It was so, for those who didn't hear long shots yesterday, Anthony Edwards had a huge performance.
Huge.
He went over. Wembanyama did not have a very good performance.
Dude sucks.
Went under. Francis Tiafoe, the big foe, came through. Big win last night. Our guy Carlos Alcaraz, and he's not going to be blacklisted because
blacklist him. He's done.
No. He's done
over with.
He has done a lot for long shots over the last year. Was not his finest night. He got taken to a break point on the first set.
Who is this scrub?
It's frustrating.
The guy he was playing against, I mean.
His a name that's very difficult to pronounce. Anyway, he was not placing his shots early. He got it going in the second and third set. Unfortunately, the break point was not kind. We needed the under on total games. He went 30. We needed under 29. Very brutal beat for long shots last night.
This talentless piece of work, this garbage human, Carlos Alcaraz, who screwed over us on long shots. We will
really
rebuild.
Coming at Carlos there.
Coming up at 12:45 today, we will rebuild and make a brand new lineup. All right, YouTube is open and ready for you at San Diego Sports 760. Text line, as always, is open. Text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. And of course, the talkback mic is open as always on the free iHeartRadio app. We had a fun one from our buddy Quacked on Padres yesterday. Would love to get some more going today. Listen to San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app. You'll see that little red microphone icon right in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can click it, leave us a 30-second message about how terrible Carlos Alcaraz is at tennis. And maybe if you have any picks to suggest for long shots coming up at 12:45, we would love to hear them there. All right, before we get to the big three here of hour number one, there is big news in the NFL. So we've been kind of keeping an eye on all these job openings, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach around the league. And there's still some huge head coaching openings. You talk about the Buffalo Bills, who somehow Bill Belichick has entered the chat on that one. You talk about the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are some jobs out there that are going to be highly sought after. But one of those jobs is cleared up. So the Los Angeles Chargers, after their disappointing exit in the early postseason, had fired their offensive coordinator, and they have now made a hire. Now, this is somebody a lot of people had pegged for a starting or a head coaching job in the NFL after he left the Miami Dolphins. But you want to talk about a home run hire for the Los Angeles Chargers, who I would say their biggest issue this year was a lack of creativity on the offensive side of the football. They bring in Mike McDaniel to head up their offense alongside Jim Harbaugh. And I think this is a home run, man. You talk about the Chargers with a healthy offensive line heading into next year, with Justin Herbert out there with something to prove heading into next year, and you pair him with one of the bright young offensive minds in the NFL. I don't think they could have done any better with this hire. Sammy, tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think it was fantastic. I think the Chargers really hit this out of the park. And think about what Mike McDaniel was able to do with Miami. There's a lot of similarities in the offense. So he never had a great interior. He had good tackles. Austin Jackson, former USC product. That was kind of what they built their team on. And despite Miami never having a good interior, was really able to run exceptional offense. What did the Chargers do? When fully healthy, they might have the best tackle tandem in the league. The interior offensive line is really bad. Bradley Bozeman, you think, will be replaced at the center spot next season. They got weapons on the outside. You got Ladd McConkey. I mean, we'll see if Keenan Allen's coming back. There's Quentin Johnson showed some signs, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers are going early round receiver. And then you got Hampton. There's weapons everywhere. Now, this is genius because Harbaugh's a great coach. McDaniel's going to run the offense. He's going to have this thing humming. And I think he passed up the Browns job. He passed up head coaching openings, wanted him. And Mike McDaniel basically said, I would rather go be the offensive coordinator of the Chargers and wait for a head coaching opening that I feel like I can really succeed at versus going to Cleveland. And we all know that Cleveland over the years has been a dumpster fire, and maybe then get blown out and not get looked at another head coaching look. Like Mike McDaniel is really playing the long game. He's betting on himself. I give him a lot of credit. The offense is going to be humming next year and kind of waiting for that opening that he wants. And listen, this is kind of Herbert's show. I mean, you got everything now. You're going to have an offensive line. You're going to have weapons. You're going to have a great head coach with a great offensive coordinator. This is Herbert. We talked about Josh Allen have a lot of pressure coming into the season. Herbert might be that guy next year that it's like there's really no more excuses to not get it done.
I think you're absolutely right. And I'm curious to hear, and if somebody has some insight on this, maybe we can reach out to them and talk to him. But if Rashawn Slater, how he's been attacking the rehab, because this was a preseason injury for Rashawn Slater. We knew he'd be out for the whole season. He's the highest paid offensive lineman in football. And he is, when he's healthy, one of the best offensive linemen in all of football. And then Joe Alt in his second year was looking like a beast before he got injured and had to miss out on the rest of the season. So you're talking about no excuses. The Chargers have no excuses next year. You got the head coach in place. You got the quarterback in place. You got the young power run, super smart offensive coordinator in place now. And the defense was fantastic this year. So next year for the Chargers, there may be more pressure on them next year than there has been in a long, long time. For those boys in the powdered blue jerseys that probably never should have left this beautiful town, San Diego. All right, a couple of YouTube chats before we get to the big three. Our buddy Rich with a comment left over from the morning show today on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We were talking about the best burger in San Diego, and this blew up in a big way. We had probably 50 callers on the show today, and he says the best burger in town is at the Friendly in North Park. That was a popular one.
Oh, I've never been there. I heard that's a good spot, though.
I never have either. I'm excited. I do want to try it. We're actually now embarking on this journey where we're going to try every burger that listeners mention, so I don't know how long that's going to take, but it's like 50 burgers. Jay Silves noticing something that I pointed out yesterday during a meeting we had here at iHeart. Says, is that a little 11 a.m. shadow I see on young Sammy? Sammy, this is the first time I've ever seen you with facial hair. What's going on?
Did you point this out in our meeting yesterday?
Yeah, I said it to Mary.
No, I was just trying a new look. I like to look back at pictures and have a new little scruff going on. Don't know if we're gonna keep it, but we'll see.
I haven't been clean shaven in like 6 years.
I usually like to go clean shaven, but sometimes there's a nice balance. There's a weird balance between when you're growing a beard out and then not, where it looks really bad. But when you get to like a little, we'll see. Listeners, let us know. Does it look awful? Do I need to go home and shave it, or do you mess with it?
I don't think you should shave for like a month. I think you need to lean into this.
No, I'm not getting a beard like that.
I think you need to lean into it, see what happens, see how it looks, because everyone's facial hair is a little bit different. Like I remember Rich and I were trying to do a little competition at one point, and Rich's just grows in patchy. There's no consistency with it whatsoever. But Sammy, I like what I'm seeing. I really do.
I appreciate it, but the problem is you can't have the rule is this: you can't have long hair and a beard. It doesn't. It's too much going on.
So
there.
I clear everything. What about Jesus Christ, Sammy? He had a beard and long hair. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess there's one exception.
How about Moses? I think he had both also. So I don't know, Sammy. Maybe you're just.
No, never mind. I stand corrected.
How about half the guys on Sons of Anarchy, the TV show?
I'm not trying to look like the guys from Sons of Anarchy.
They all had a very successful career. All right, let's get to the big three here of our number one. Sammy, go ahead and smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers. It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
How about our buddy Tyler with an interesting point on YouTube? I'd kind of forgotten about this, saying pretty sure Mike McDaniel was lobbying for Herbert to be drafted, but Miami ended up taking Tua with the 5th overall pick. Herbert went right after Tua, didn't he?
5th and 6th, yep.
Interesting. Maybe this is Mike McDaniel's grand plan all along. He wanted to get fired. He wanted to go be the offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
Well, I mean, you talk about McDaniel. He really did get screwed. Like,
yeah, it's not his fault. Tua couldn't stay on the field.
He couldn't stay on the field. Then Tyreek gets hurt. They trade a lot of their defense. The playoff game he got him to, it's literally minus 13 in Kansas City, who went on to win the Super Bowl. I mean, Mike McDaniel was not the reason why the Miami Dolphins were not winning big-time games. I really firmly believe that.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge success with the Chargers, and then he's going to get another head coaching job next year. All right, Sammy, where do you want to start today?
We're heading. This story broke after our show yesterday. So MLB owners were enraged, per The Athletic, by the Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers deal. Said they will push for the salary cap, quote, no matter what. So obviously headed to a lockout here. It's looking like in a year. Do you think this salary cap, though, will solve everything? Because I feel like there's this misconception that a salary cap is just going to solve everything of Major League Baseball's problems. You go first. What do you think on it?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like the Dodgers, rightfully so, are the face of Major League Baseball right now. And as gross as that feels, it's true. But you have every team in Major League Baseball hating the Dodgers. Players love them. Players want part of that. And I think what the Dodgers are doing right now is actually kind of genius because they see what's coming in a year. They see what's coming 10 years down the line, which is going to be a salary cap that, like the NFL, increases a little bit every year, but caps out how much you're going to spend. Well, here's my question. The Dodgers have already spent it. The Dodgers already have these players under contract. Does that get grandfathered into the salary cap era? Because I promise you, the number the Dodgers are at right now will be bigger than whatever the first salary cap instituted is going to be. So what the Dodgers are doing is kind of genius, and they're making sure everything is done in ink right now. So when 2027 comes, by 2028, they're still going to have a pretty damn good team on the field. I don't know how you rule this. I really don't. It is a really bad spot for the world of baseball to be in, for the team that is supposed to be the shining light at the top of the tower for the rest of the world, the rest of the sports world, to be the one team that's hated by every other team. And I think baseball's in a bad spot, and that's the main reason for the lockout that's coming. And it's really all the Dodgers' fault, but also the Dodgers are kind of geniuses.
Well, the Dodgers are smart in that, right? They're locking up these contracts. So if they get a salary cap and no deferrals, let's say they get everything they want, the owners, they're going to go, okay, cool. Well, Shohei Ohtani's not going anywhere. You're not messing up that contract. Yeah,
exactly. Are you going to force the Dodgers to trade people away? Is there going to be a redraft?
I don't even think what it is. That's legal. Like, I don't even think that they could do that with these contracts signed and agreed upon when they were. Obviously, a salary cap needs to happen in baseball. The biggest thing, though, is a salary floor. Baseball is the only sport where half the league is really not even trying to compete with the top. Like, that just doesn't happen in any other sport. Whereas there's bad teams in the NBA, there's bad teams in the NFL, but everyone is paying the same amount of money. They're paying the salary cap unless they're trying to free up and open up spots for the future. Everyone's competing at a high level. In baseball, it is an extremely hard where half the league, the Pittsburgh Pirates payroll, despite them having one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, the collection of hitters is atrocious. They're not going to win a World Series. So obviously there needs to be a salary cap. There needs to be a salary floor just as importantly. And Sean Schaefer made this point yesterday. I was listening and I thought it was a good one. What does that mean for the Padres? Because if you think about it, the Padres are top 10 in spending. They don't spend like the Dodgers. They don't spend like the Mets or the Yankees, but they do spend money. So if you create a salary floor, does this actually in a weird way hurt the Padres? Because now you have teams like the Marlins and the Pirates in the laughing stock of Major League Baseball for a long time. Now they're going to be forced to try and compete does that bring everyone to the middle of the pack, which might create more upsets at the top? But does it just create more of a logjam for the middle teams? Like your point, the Dodgers aren't going anywhere.
Right. And the other thing I was thinking about when I was thinking more about the salary floor is imagine the history of Major League Baseball if the A's and the Rays were forced to spend just a little bit more money.
Right.
Like,
right,
those
totally.
two organizations have had some damn good baseball teams because for all their shortcomings at the ownership levels, they have hired great general managers who have stocked the teams with talent, and it literally became a farm system for the rest of Major League Baseball. But imagine if they had to spend a certain amount of money year in and year out. So you would see some of the guys who were coming up in the system of both those teams staying with them and not getting traded off to other teams. And maybe you see World Series go their directions. Like, it really is a different history of the league if the A's and the Rays were forced to spend competitively. And maybe it's a bummer that it hasn't happened earlier. All right, Sammy, what's next?
Quick second story. We're going to get to all the Laker drama and the Aztecs in the coming segments. But this one was Terry Pegula. I don't know if people saw this. This morning had a press conference about the firing of Sean McDermott. Basically, he said he made the decision to fire Sean McDermott post-game after the loss to Denver. And then he was asked about the fact that they haven't developed any receivers. And for the years, the Bills really haven't had a big-time receiver since Stephon Diggs. And even before that, he made the comment saying that the reason why Brandon Beane partially was promoted and shouldn't be faulted for picking Keon Coleman over guys like Xavier Worthy and talented in that draft was the coaching staff pushed Brandon Beane to take Keon Coleman, saying, quote, he didn't want to take Keon Coleman, but he listened to the coaches, so therefore they took Keon Coleman over his gut. Basically making every excuse in the book for Brandon Beane. What was your reaction to this press conference?
Get a GM that says no to the coaches. Like, what are we actually doing here, Buffalo? And it's you're focusing on one draft pick. Well, show me another draft pick that's worked out well for Brandon Beane outside of who were the two Pro Bowlers? It was
Dawson Knox and Dawson Knox.
I mean, what other draft picks has he made that have been successful? I don't know. It seems from the outside looking in like it was such a mistake to promote, not just retain, but promote Brandon Beane. And curious where this goes next for the Buffalo Bills because he has to smash on this year's draft. Is Pegula's daughter playing in the Australian Open?
Oh, probably. I don't know. I forgot that's his daughter.
Yeah, we should probably put some money on her next time, Sammy, instead of stupid Carlos Alcaraz.
Don't disrespect Carlos.
What's her? Is it Jessica Pegula?
Jessica Pegula.
No, I'm a big fan.
Don't disrespect Carlos. He's gonna get it back for us.
No, but Jessica Pegula is an awesome tennis player. We should bet on her. I might stay up till midnight to watch that one, Sammy.
I was staying up watching some tennis last night. Anyway, with the Pegula situation, this is a horrible look for the Bills. I mean, this is like, I wasn't this biggest Sean McDermott fan, but Sean McDermott was not the main reason why they failed to get past all their playoff failures over the last 6 years. Brandon Beane has been a terrible GM. So what you just said, he's only drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. It's not like Dawson Knox is some great player. They got lucky with James Cook.
Dawson Knox is pretty good.
Yeah, but he's not the best tight end. He's not top 5 tight end in football. I mean, he had a year where he was really good, and Josh Allen made him look great. He hasn't done anything. And by the way, the fact that you think you're defending Brandon Beane by sitting there going, he's the GM. He's the guy that calls the shots. And he was persuaded by the coaching staff to take a guy. And then you blame it all on the coaches going, look, they wanted him. I didn't.
Like, you see the Giants situation today with the New York Giants? Harbaugh was at his press conference, and it came out that Harbaugh reports directly to ownership, not to Joe Shane, the general manager.
Right.
How it's been situated in every year in the past in Giants history is the head coach goes to the GM who goes to the ownership.
It's a bad look. Like,
you're a dangerous precedent.
You're supposed to be calling the shots, and that then you're leaving all your recruiting staff, your scouting staff out to dry. The Bills are in disarray right now, and I don't know where they go next year.
All right, coming up over the next 30 minutes or so, we will give away a pair of tickets. It's going to be the Aztecs basketball tickets for next Wednesday's game against Colorado State, so stay tuned for that. Coming up next, we will preview this San Diego State and Grand Canyon matchup later on tonight, and Jeannie Buss is at it again. She's talking. Is LeBron listening? We'll see. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances today for you to walk away from listening to this show with $1,000. Some might call it a bribe. We just call it good business, baby. So listen every single hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Get yourself a keyword at the top of every hour. Take that keyword over to sportssd.com for a chance to win $1,000 every hour with the bonus bucks giveaway. If you want to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it. On YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. On X at Fletch and Sammy. Find us there. Follow, subscribe. Sammy changed his Twitter handle. What are you now?
I'm at the Sammy Long.
At the Sammy Long. Follow him there. I'm at Fletch Sports on all social media. We would love a couple of follows. All right, Lakers are in the news. Lakers, you heard that game last night right here on San Diego Sports 760. But the news of the day is a few different things. So Baxter Holmes has a huge article out about the timeline of Jerry Buss passing away, the team being handed off to Jeannie Buss as the governor, to the eventual sale of the Walton family, and how Jeannie Buss went in and fired everybody on the whole team. There's quotes in here. It's kind of a fun read, honestly, if you want to look back in history. And I drew a couple parallels, actually, from what's going on in that article on ESPN from Baxter Holmes and what's actually going on with the Padres, like, as we speak. Jerry Buss passes away, leaves the entire team, the organization, the empire that he had built, to his 6 children. Is that right? 6 children, Sammy?
I believe so, yeah.
6 children, and Jeannie was kind of the leader of everything, but every kid had a place within the Lakers organization. And then as it came time to eventually sell the team, Jeannie Buss went and fired all of her brothers and sisters.
Rightfully so, I will say, though.
Right, sure. But it's like Jerry Buss, who's a competitive dude who wanted the Lakers organization to be in his family for generations to come, passes it down, immediately descends into chaos. Peter Seidler, we have quotes from him saying he wanted the Padres to be in the Seidler name for decades and generations to come. And it seems just a couple years after Peter's passing, that's not going to be the case. So that is what it is. However, there were some quotes from Jeannie Buss recently where she said LeBron James wasn't grateful enough when they drafted Bronny, LeBron's son. There's a story out that she tried to trade LeBron just a couple of years ago.
2022, yep.
Sammy, what do you make of all this? There's some discomfort, I would say, in the ranks of the 2 top people with the Lakers organization, which right now are Jeannie and LeBron.
Well, I think this is the Lakers subtly told LeBron what they think going forward in the offseason. LeBron went to them and Rich Paul and Clutch Sports and asked for a contract extension. The Lakers said no. The Lakers were not going to pay LeBron a max salary. Given his age, he's still playing at an extremely high level. He was a part of the 16-point comeback last night against Denver. But the Lakers need to kind of reboot around Luka and Reeves, and they need to free up that LeBron money. Now, LeBron 10 years ago was best player in the NBA, so you would move mountains. When he was with the Cavs, remember he asked for Kyle Korver, and the whole week leading up to it, the Cavs were trying to trade with Atlanta to get Kyle Korver. Whatever LeBron wanted was taken. It was taken into consideration and then done for him. Given his age now, that's not the same. It's Luka's team, then it's Reeves' team, then it would be LeBron. LeBron is not the guy anymore that at the drop of the hat they're listening to. So all in the offseason, when we're hearing over the last year, LeBron could want out. LeBron wants to be on a team that's contending, given this could be his last season. And now, right 3 weeks before the trade deadline, it's interesting hearing Jeannie Buss, and these are coming out about her possibly wanting to trade him in 2022, offered a deal to the Clippers. Was what another thing that you mentioned, that Bronny James felt like he wasn't grateful. Also, which was very true, LeBron got the Lakers to trade for Russell Westbrook, and that obviously did not pan out. It was a terrible trade for the Lakers. And then LeBron turned around and kind of wiped his hands and was kind of like, the Lakers aren't putting enough pieces around me. Well, the reason the Lakers weren't putting enough pieces around LeBron is because they traded everyone to get your friend in Russell Westbrook. So it's a curious timing. The Lakers are in too good a spot in the standings where I don't think he'll get dealt, but it just heats up the conversation the next 3 weeks. I don't think the Lakers are winning a championship. I don't think they're close to that right now. Is there some thought that LeBron is on his way out in the next 3 weeks? I would not be surprised if we hear some reports start heating up in the next couple weeks.
And it is funny that we had that report just a couple weeks ago that Rich Paul was on the podcast talking about how they should trade Austin Reeves and go get Jaren Jackson Jr. Well, couldn't you also just trade LeBron and go get Jaren Jackson Jr.?
That's what I think this is a direct response to. I think the Lakers are tired of being at beholden to LeBron. And I think because of his age, you're seeing this totally change.
Could you get a top end big man for LeBron right now? Like, no. I would imagine there are teams out there who just want to fill the arena for the rest of the season and would make a trade for LeBron, but LeBron wouldn't necessarily say yes to that trade.
Right. Well, LeBron has a no trade clause. So LeBron's only going to accept a deal where he gets sent to New York, where he gets sent to Cleveland, where he gets sent to the Warriors, a team that he thinks he could have a chance to contend. He's not going for a Jaren Jackson Jr. because of his age, but I think the Lakers would seriously consider if, let's say, you called Golden State and they're like
Jimmy Butler for LeBron straight up,
or well, Butler got hurt, but like Kuminga.
No, I know, but Jimmy Butler for the next few years is still going to be good enough,
right? I think the Lakers would actually prioritize draft picks and young pieces, Brandon Podziemski, guys like that, and get rid of the LeBron aura and cloud that has kind of brought with him his whole career. And given his age, I think the Lakers are just kind of done with it right now.
Well, it may be happening in just a few weeks. Interesting timing, to say the least, for Jeanie Buss to come out with a couple of 2-year-old stories that are now being talked about on a daily basis.
I'm curious with the press conference tomorrow, because they're going to be asked about all this. I'm curious the quotes that come out of this.
Just bizarre timing with everything, but that's always planned. And so we'll see what actually happens. All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. We got the Aztecs game later on tonight. They're playing at Grand Canyon, historically really tough place to play. Let's preview that game a little bit on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. We got the Aztecs back in action tonight, coming off that big win against New Mexico at Viejas on Saturday night. They're in Arizona taking on Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is currently a 1.5 point favorite in this one. Point total set at 143.5. Tip will be at 8 o'clock with Schaefer on the call right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch, you get your pregame starting at 7. And 2 offensive coordinator hires in the NFL. Mike McDaniel will be the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. And Eric Bieniemy is on his way back to Kansas City. Matt Nagy is out as the OC. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you've become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to take over then briefly. John Schaefer is going to be with you from 2 to 4. J Riff is going to be jumping on from 4 to 6 because John Schaefer's got to get ready for a pretty big basketball game, which is coming up later tonight. San Diego State and Grand Canyon at GCU. Very tough environment to play in. It is the only show in town and they pack that place. Which should be a really, really fun environment for tonight. How about Sammy? You just said it. Eric Bieniemy back with the Chiefs. Chiefs fan,
Very
Sammy,
excited.
super fan. You excited about this?
I have been calling for Matt Nagy to be gone for years. Even when they won the Super Bowl, his short yardage situations was terrible. Even the Chiefs, when they won that year against the Niners, were 15th ranked offense. He was not good. The Chiefs have perennially been terrible on short yardage situations. Eric Bieniemy brings an edge back to this team. I love it. He had the number 1 rushing attack with Chicago this year, and the Chiefs' rushing attack was abysmal last season.
Eric Bieniemy's had kind of a funny career as a coach because he was with the Chiefs for so long, and everybody said, "Oh, when is Eric Bieniemy going to get a shot at being a head coach? When is he going to be a head coach?" He finally got it with the Washington Commanders.
He's an OC at Washington.
OC?
He left to be the offensive coordinator because they kept saying, because he was with Andy Reid, he never got the credit. Like,
right.
You're not really calling the plays, so we're not going to give you a head coaching job. But then he went to UCLA.
Yeah, outside of this run with Chicago this past year, it's never really worked out great for Eric Bieniemy. But back home, maybe it'll be great with the Chiefs once again.
I'm just so happy Matt Nagy's gone. I can't believe he's getting head coaching looks. I don't see that at all.
Ask Brent Sperry about Matt Nagy from his time with the Bears.
Oh, I know. Matt Nagy, the Chiefs offense has took a massive downturn ever since Matt Nagy was there.
All right, let's get to this Aztecs game coming up later tonight, and then I got to tell you about a super hack that I figured out today with some help from a friend. But Aztecs tonight. So Mark Ziegler had the report officially yesterday. Magoon will be missing tonight's game. So against Wyoming, he tweaked his hip, and then this past weekend against New Mexico at home, he did it again early in the game, and people saw him go to the locker room. He came back out, actually played another couple of minutes, played the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half, and then subbed himself out again. So something clearly is off with Magoon, and he's dealing with a hip injury is the suspicion, although they don't have to officially list that on the college basketball reporting thing. But it does seem like it's a hip injury for Magoon, and who knows, we'll see how long he's going to be out. But they're going to miss him here tonight. So San Diego State heading into this game, like a lot of us, we hear the name Grand Canyon. They're the newcomer to the Mountain West. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. They have a good record, not a great record. I'm telling you, Grand Canyon at home is damn near impossible to beat. Many teams have tried. The San Diego State has tried it, and it hasn't happened. It is one of the best home environments in all of college basketball, and it's something special that you only get with college basketball when you can go to these places. And Grand Canyon's the perfect example where it's a private university. There is a lot of money coming in. There's a lot of money going to this basketball team because they're like the only show in town. And Grand Canyon gets these incredible crowds. They have a really good team once again. They're well coached. They have this incredible home court advantage, and they just beat Utah State on their home court. So it's like Grand Canyon. You can take them lightly if you want. I promise you it's a dumb idea. This is going to be an absolutely brutal road game for San Diego State, and you just got to do whatever it takes to win this game. I think they're top 80 in the net or in KenPom at this point. I haven't looked at their net rankings. This is one of those games where if San Diego State can find out how to get a 1-point win tonight, you are going to be stoked as an Aztec fan driving home.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game tonight because I'm curious what happened. So the Aztecs have been kind of living on the edge, and you can look at that.
Kinda? It's been the heart attack boys all season.
You can look at that one of two ways. You can the Boise State game, the New Mexico game, the Nevada game. You can look at that one of two ways. If you choose to be negative, you go, they're not closing out games right, and they're kind of giving up potential moves up rankings, up the Ken Palm rankings by not closing out and having dominant victories. The other way to look at it, if we're going to have a positive spin, is the Aztecs are figuring out ways to win close games. And yes, it's frustrating that they've given up some of these leads and probably shouldn't have even been in these scenarios, but they've been finding ways to win tough games, especially when a couple of those games, when Boise State came all the way back, you thought they were dead in the water. I mean, New Mexico, that game Saturday night, they were completely dominating the first half. The Aztecs, and then it felt like, oh no, it finally caught up to them. But the Aztecs really have kind of been able to bite down the mouthpiece a little bit in the last couple minutes of games and really find ways to win. But to your point about the environment, like Grand Canyon, New Mexico, Utah State, we know these environments in the Mountain West are really tough environments to go win in. And you think the Aztecs are 7-0 Mountain West Conference play right now. I was talking to Schaefer yesterday on his show, and he's like, to get an at-large bid, you're probably looking at having to go 16-4 in Mountain West play. That's very tough to do. That's easier said than done. So the Aztecs, we were talking right before the segment, Ben, probably have to go undefeated at home in Mountain West Conference play, and you got to pick off some of these road games. You're not going to win realistically probably all these road tough environments. Grand Canyon is really your first crack at that tonight. You passed the test in Nevada. Now you got Grand Canyon, who is led by two big time scorers. Jaden Henley averages like 17 points per game, so you got to watch out for him. And Malachi Williams averages about 13. So they really have 2-star scorers for Grand Canyon. I think it really comes down to those two versus Reese Dixon Waters and Miles Bird. Who's going to have the bigger matchup? Hopefully it's the Aztecs.
And we've seen Miles Bird really turning it on lately. He's starting to have those stat lines where it's not just points or rebounds or assists. It's all of them put together. And against New Mexico, without Miles Bird's defense, with his blocks down the stretch in that game, they don't win against New Mexico. And that was a game they had a 15 or so point lead. The other game that sticks out like a sore thumb to me is Fresno State. They probably should have won that game against Fresno State by 30, 35 points. And they allowed Fresno State to almost get it to single digits in the second half before going on a little run at the end. I think it was a 19-point win for San Diego State. But those kind of things can work if you're at Viejas Arena, if you're playing against Fresno State. If you're playing at Grand Canyon, where they are one team at home, one very different team on the road, that doesn't work. So if San Diego State is able to do what they've been doing, which is get out to a good lead in the first half, you got to find a way to play the full 40 minutes. And Dutch has talked about that repeatedly this year with this specific group of guys. Now it's been 2 years where we've seen San Diego State can jump out to these big leads, but then they almost get complacent. And I don't know what that is with this group, but if they can play a full 40 minutes tonight, they are the more talented team against Grand Canyon. I think they're the most talented team in the Mountain West. They can absolutely do it, but we got to see it get done here tonight. All right, speaking of San Diego State, we got a pair of tickets to give away for San Diego State's game coming up next Wednesday against Colorado State. If you would like to be there at Viejas Arena, caller number 8, you're going to the game. 877-767-4760. Give us a call right now at 877-767-4760. All right, real quick life hack. I've never had Excedrin before today. Have you ever had Excedrin?
The greatest.
I had a headache this morning, and I never really get headaches. I also don't take ibuprofen or anything because it makes me sweaty. I had Excedrin this morning.
What?
Oh my God, Excedrin is the greatest thing on this world.
Excedrin, first off, once you have Excedrin migraine over ibuprofen, and I don't know who's advertises with iHeart, but we're just going to be honest, Excedrin migraine will knock that out.
You know it's got caffeine in it?
Oh yeah, gets you jacked up.
I don't know what the rules are on talking about medicine stuff on the radio, but Excedrin is the greatest thing that God has ever given this earth.
Did you take it this morning?
I took it at like 9 a.m. because I had a headache all morning long, and then I took that, and I felt great ever since.
That's that Ben Fletcher Go Juice Excedrin migraine.
And our buddy SD Tyler, what doesn't make you sweaty, Fletch? Not a whole lot.
That might need to be a medical thing. Why does ibuprofen make you sweaty?
It always has, forever. I don't know what it is.
That's odd. Have you asked a doctor about that?
To Tyler's point, everything kind of makes me sweaty. I feel more sweaty if I have ibuprofen. Maybe it's a mental thing. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. Long shots on the other side. We'll also have a winner name. Phone lines are lit up for those Aztec tickets. Sammy's going to talk to you here in a second. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for the Valley View Casino and Hotel. Man, I'm planning on going out there Saturday night with TD, Travis Dale, and myself. We're even going to bring Sammy along to go hang out at Valley View Casino and Hotel for a little bit. And right now, they are rewarding table game players every single month during their thrilling Cash is King event. You can earn entries all month long through table games by playing using your player's card. With all your favorite table games in both the high and low limit rooms, earning entries is super easy and fun. Then you can join Valley View Casino on Saturday, January 31st at their main stage bar for this month's Cash is King giveaway. $10,000 in cash will be given away to 45 guests all night long with drawings to win a couple $100 every hour starting at 7 until 10 o'clock. Plus at 10:30, there's going to be a grand prize drawing of $400 for 5 lucky guests. Don't miss the Cash is King event on January 31st from 7 to 10:30 only at the Valley View Casino and Hotel. To earn rewards while you play, be sure to use your Players Club. And if you're not a member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus right now, when you join the Players Club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at Valley View Casino, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, and the list goes on and on and on. And the more you use your Players Club card on your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you'll earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel coming up on January 31st for the Cash is King event. And you can join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. Oh, so close. We were so close yesterday to Sammy cashing us all a bunch of money with a long shots lineup. And then Carlos Alcaraz had to go and ruin everything in tennis, which is Sammy's strongest gambling sport. All right. Coming up this weekend, Sunday at noon, Patriots Broncos. Sunday at 3:30, Rams at Seahawks. A great UFC card coming up on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Sammy and I got a date. We're hanging out. We're going to Valley View Casino and Hotel. We're going to do a little gambling. We're going to do a little eating. I think we're going to Patties and Pints. I don't know. Travis Dale's setting this whole thing up. So we're going to have a nice little night at Valley View.
Now I'm kind of nervous if Travis is setting it up.
I know, dude, but they love him over there. So we'll have a good time. I promise you that. But we're going to hang out at Valley View on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to that, Sammy. We haven't gambled together since Vegas.
I know. We also had some success gambling together in Vegas. We got a little bit of heater at the craps table at Circa, And then we had that one couple who didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Throwing the dice out of the pit.
Yeah. See, I saw that immediately. I was like, listen, I'm not putting my money. And she's like laughing. I'm like, I'm sorry. You just lost everyone money at the table.
I do think she ended up going on like a 30-minute roll, which was kind of tough to watch after we bailed.
Listen, I'm not saying you have to be an expert roller. I'm just, when you throw the dice out of the table, that's concerning.
It happens. It happens.
Like, you're supposed to point, you know?
All right, we got a shout out to give our buddy Fridge Watcher on YouTube saying thanks for the follow, boys.
Yes, sir.
Fridge Watcher, I don't think I've seen your name before, so welcome in, man. Thank you for being here. SD Tyler has a couple of recommendations for long shots. Sammy, take notes on those. And our buddy Rich saying a few years ago, we went to a Grand Canyon game when they were in Phoenix for spring training, when the Padres were in Phoenix for spring training. It was senior night, and it was a wild night in that arena. I'm telling you, dude, Grand Canyon's home arena, it is built in a way for college basketball to be perfect. It is so loud in that place. San Diego State has struggled in there in the past. Their fan base is excellent at GCU. This is going to be a wild night for the Aztecs. They're going to have to use that energy somehow to their advantage tonight and get out of there with a win. It's going to be tough. This is the toughest road game they've played so far this year. I have no doubt about that. All right, Shammy, let's get to long shots. Go ahead, smash it. Brutal.
See, I don't know if that's a good omen,
brutal,
or a bad omen. Guess what? We're gonna redo it right now.
Smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money
with long shots.
We have to hear the Rounders plug.
Yeah, are we going to tennis?
We have NBA and tennis.
I like it.
So last night, again, for those who didn't know, we hit one tennis pick. Francis Tiafoe came through, the big foe for us. And my NBA, my associated picks for money. Unfortunately, Carlos Alcaraz sold us by one game. All right, we're going to start. We're going to go to SD Tyler. SD Tyler, one of our loyal first listeners that are always, one of our guys.
Part of the crew.
I really like his pick tonight. So he has Zion Williamson, Pelicans playing Detroit. Zion, more than 25 points and rebounds. Said he's never gone under 34 against Detroit per Tyler. I like this pick a lot. You know, the Detroit's calling card is really their front court depth. Outside of Kate Cunningham gets the headlines. They got a lot of successful guards, but Duran, and they have a front court that's really deep. They play like 10 guys. So Zion's going to have to play a lot tonight. More than 25 points and rebounds. And this Pelicans team, if you look at the record, if you don't watch much NBA, you think that they suck. They actually got a lot of young talent. Derek Queen, Zion Williamson, Jeremiah Fears. It's a fun team that can push teams. They just don't really have closers right now. They've lost a lot of close games this year. So I like that pick. Zion, more than 25 plus points and rebounds. Okay, Jalen Brunson, more than 25.5 points against Brooklyn. Now, this is the crosstown rivalry. They've been following. The Knicks have been in a free fall right now. They've lost 9 of 11 games. And Jalen Brunson just called a players-only meeting. They actually got booed off the court on MLK Day on Monday. They got absolutely slaughtered. Knicks fans were very frustrated, rightfully so. The team, it's not making a lot of sense right now. They brought back everyone from last year. Karl-Anthony Towns is not having the year. He's blacklisted from long shots, by the way, so we called that.
See ya, cat.
Karl-Anthony Towns has not been having a good year. Jalen Brunson.
Go back to the litter box.
Jalen Brunson has been really left out to dry, and that's kind of the foundation of the team. Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, rounded out by Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, all this kind of stuff. Karl-Anthony Towns has not been getting it done. Though, with the closed-door meeting, I think Jalen Brunson has a big night tonight, more than 25.5 points. Brunson has been playing good ball, despite the fact that they've been on a little bit of a slide. I think New York gets right tonight, more than 25.5 points for Jalen Brunson. Okay, and then do we want one more NBA pick and one tennis pick, or do you want 2 tennis picks?
2 tennis picks.
All right, I'm going to scratch this one off.
Pagula. She's playing.
I know she's playing, but she's not a part of the picks. Okay, Ben Shelton.
She's part of my picks.
But you can pick Jessica.
12.5 total games won. You like that one?
That's your call. I don't know who she's playing, so I'm not gonna bet her. But if you want to, shout out
Kessler. She's playing against Kessler.
Okay, I'm not sure. Ben Shelton's playing Sweeney. So Ben Shelton, less than 32.5 total games. Ben Shelton had a rough go at the U.S. Open. Not a rough go. He actually went on a little bit of a run, and people thought he's one of the big time American prospects. Taylor Fritz is the best American tennis player going right now. You got Tiafoe, Ben Shelton. Everyone's waiting for one of the Americans to break through. It's been a lot of years since an American has won a major, and Ben Shelton could be the guy to do that. He's got a big social media following, a real fan favorite. I think he makes quick work of Sweeney today. Less than 32 and a half total games, coming back with a little bit of a vengeance. He really was on a tear during that U.S. Open, but he just hasn't been able to crack through against the Alcarazes, the Sinners, the Djokovic's, all those kind of guys, even the Fritz. I think he cruises to the round of 16, kind of gets it going here. Less than 32 and a half total games for Ben Shelton. Taylor Fritz, the other American, the Rancho Santa Fe boy himself. Hopefully we get him on the show soon. More than 31 and a half total games. I do think he wins, but Kopriva, who he's playing, is a very good tennis player. This is one of the best matches of the day at the Australian Open. Fritz, great player, but Kopriva's been there before. Kopriva's played against some of the top talent in the last few tournaments. Again, just a guy who's never really been able to crack the top end. Fritz is better than everyone else, except for Sinner, Alcaraz, and Djokovic. He's the fourth-ranked player in the world. He's right outside that top three, hoping maybe he can crack through in Australia. I think this match, I think he wins, but the match goes over more than 31 and a half total games for Fritz. All right, Jalen Brunson, more than 25 and a half total points against Brooklyn. Zion Williamson, more than 25 points and rebounds, courtesy of our own very own Tyler. Ben Shelton, less than 32 and a half total games, tennis in the Australian Open. Taylor Fritz, more than 31 and a half total games. Kopriva's going to push him to the fifth set.
I like it. I really do. And by the way, I just found out that if you use promo code Fletch on Prize Picks, it still works. So they're not spending any money with this right now, but we do still use the app on a daily basis. And if you would like to get a little bonus, promo code Fletch on Prize Picks. How about that?
They haven't shut it down yet?
No, it's still working. Somebody just signed up for it the other day and it still worked. So go ahead. Go ahead and sign up and maybe let Prize Picks know that you heard about them right here on San Diego Sports 760, huh? All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. Hour 2 is coming up next. Eric Williams, E-Dub, is going to be joining us. We got a bunch of great comments in YouTube and on the text line. We'll get to those in just a little bit. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. Aztecs back in action on the road in Arizona tonight, taking on Grand Canyon. The Aztecs open as 1.5-point favorites. Grand Canyon is now a 1.5-point favorite themselves. The game will be at 8 o'clock with Schaefer on the call right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch will get you going pregame starting at 7. And big news out of Major League Baseball, the Yankees gave Cody Bellinger a 5-year, $162.5 million contract to remain with the Pinstripes. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over then. All right, we got plenty to get into this hour. We're actually going to start by letting you know you could win some Charlie Puth tickets right here on this very show.
CP.
This very hour. What do you think, Sammy? In about 30 minutes, we'll give those away?
Let's do 30 minutes.
How about in 30 minutes, we'll give those tickets away? So he's playing at Viejas Arena coming up on April 22nd, and you can see him live. You can buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com, but why would you do that when you can win tickets in just 30 minutes time right here on San Diego Sports 760? All right, I had not opened the text line, I will be completely honest, until about 5 seconds ago, and there is some funny stuff on there. So we opened the show by blacklisting Carlos Alcaraz from long shots.
No, we didn't blacklist.
We blacklisted Carlos Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz has won us a lot over the years.
Yeah, but he was messing around with inferior opponents, and it screwed us, Sammy.
Carlos is not blacklisted.
All right, well, the 858 said, I knew that first set from Alcaraz set us up for failure, but nice call, Sammy. Redemption day today. We will rerun long shots coming up a little bit later in the show. 619, new segment, make Sammy pronounce things.
Shalom
That's not
skiing.
bad. That's not bad.
Shalom skiing.
Here's the thing. Did you mispronounce something today? I don't. If you have, I've missed it.
Well, I wouldn't know because I think I'm saying them correctly. So text line, please let me know if I mispronounce anything.
913 with a very interesting question saying, Sammy, are you going to be at the big game tailgate?
I will.
KMB?
I will be at the big game tailgate.
There's actually some emails floating around right now about Sammy maybe being a little bigger part of the big game tailgate.
We're very excited.
So mark your calendars. February 6th, the Friday before the big game, the Super Bowl. We're doing a big game tailgate at KMB Bistro in Del Cerro, the Big Rich TD and Fletch show from KGB. Cat's going to be there. We're all going to be there. It's going to be weird. There will be animals. That is confirmed. There's going to be huge giveaways. That is confirmed. But the chaos,
animals,
that is supplied by you.
Is it legal for there to be animals in a place where there's food and beverage served?
See, this is why we don't let Sammy ask questions sometimes, because it's a bad question, Sammy. Bad question.
No, I'm asking for you.
858 Aztec money line was a nice 2-1 double up this morning. Lock it in. That's good to see.
Lock it in. Hey, let Grand Canyon be a favorite. Get that plus money action going your way.
913. I want to see Sammy do a flabongo at the big game tailgate. Fletch, can we peer pressure Sammy to do it? I don't even think it'd be that much of a pressure situation. I think he'll just do it.
What I got to be honest, what is a flabongo?
A flabongo is a beer bong that looks like a flamingo that we've had in our possession for a while. I actually think Aaron Bauman, who is a sales executive here at iHeart San Diego, who only handles accounts worth $594 million or more. It's Aaron's flabongo that we pour beers into and then drink out of the flabongos.
Oh, that'd be tremendous. Definitely into that.
Yeah. And our buddy Rich saying, Sammy, it's only illegal if you get caught. Duh, dude.
Hey, it's wise words to live by.
I'm trying to tell Sammy that every single day, and he never listens to me. Never, ever, ever. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We got the Aztecs playing tonight. You're going to hear that game right here on our airwaves. 8 o'clock tip-off. I'll get you going with pregame starting at 7 o'clock tonight. The big news of the day for San Diego State is Magoon Guath is not going to be playing in tonight's game. So actually, if you look at it right now, San Diego State, if they win tonight, will be 2 games up on everybody in the Mountain West. So we're talking about these scenarios for Aztecs getting an at-large bid, blah, 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 blah. I got an idea. Just get the 1 seed in the Mountain West tournament and win the Mountain West tournament, and then you don't have to worry about any at-large bids because it's going to be tricky. Look, the loss to Troy at the beginning of the season is tricky for San Diego State to overcome. And it was a wild, hectic game. But the fact of the matter is, Troy hasn't had that great of a season. They had a really great night against San Diego State. They had a really great weekend because they beat San Diego State, then almost beat USC just a couple nights later. But since then, they haven't really done much to help that loss look a little bit better. So for San Diego State, I believe this last Monday was the first time that they were up in Joe Lunardi's bracketology since that Troy loss. So for San Diego State right now, you're in a good spot. but you almost have to forecast a couple of losses on the road. I think even Brian Dutcher would tell you that in the Mountain West, which is a tricky conference to play in. Tonight's a brutal game against Grand Canyon at Grand Canyon. So for San Diego State, the best way to ensure that you're in the NCAA tournament is to go get the 1 seed in the Mountain West, win the Mountain West tournament, and then you're in no matter what. The Aztecs are in a good spot to do so right now. They're 2 games up on everybody. Utah State lost again last night. San Diego State needs to handle a very tricky 2-game set, both of which are on the road. Grand Canyon tonight, UNLV tomorrow. Those are the last 2 teams that Utah State has played. Utah State lost to both of them. San Diego State could do themselves a lot of favors with a couple of wins here in tricky road environments. Tonight's going to be tough without Magoon Guath, though.
Well, to your point about no one expected Troy loss. And in basketball, this is, I mean, I guess the conversation's changing when you have a school like Indiana go win a national championship. But in college football, you know that a lot of programs, they have to have their best night and you have to have your worst night to win. But in college basketball, we know that, Troy, they hit an exceptional clip from 3. Like there wasn't even, not even make excuses for the Aztecs. There's just not a ton that they could have done with that game. They literally just, Troy shot an unbelievable pace and the Aztecs were a little off. So you got to figure, to what you just said, there's going to be some more of those. And you can't just expect that the Aztecs are going to be perfect at home. Ideally, that's what we're shooting for. That's what we'd love to win every game in the Mountain West Conference. But ideally, it's a tough conference with tough places to play. You're forecasting a couple losses, and this starts your kind of Grand Canyon on the road is going to be tough. New Mexico on the road is going to be tough. Utah State on the road is going to be tough. Some of these schools are going to be tough, and you got to figure there's going to be one bad night for the Aztecs where they might drop a game. So this is the first start of them with the tough road environments. If you could pick one off immediately, it really sets you up for the future, building a lot of momentum to what you just said, being 8-0 and having a 2-game lead on the Mountain West. But you also don't want to slip up tonight, and then it puts even more pressure on you to be perfect the rest of the way out. So we'll see how they respond without Magoon Guath. The best thing, though, about that is that they basically played the entire New Mexico game without Magoon Guath because he got injured so early in it. So they do have some experience playing without him, but it really just kind of falls on Farrell Compton and Miles Heide to really kind of pick up the slack in the front court.
Grand Canyon is 11-6 on the season. They are 85 in KenPom. So you got to go out there and get a win here tonight, San Diego State. That would make the next couple of weeks a little bit easier to see the future of, but it all kind of has to start here tonight against Grand Canyon. 8:00 tip-off, 7:00 pregame. Listen here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, Samuel, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 2. Remember, we got those Charlie Puth tickets. If you don't want them, I promise you, your daughter or your girlfriend does, so keep listening. That's coming up at 1:30-ish today. Sammy, go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Co-workers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
And we might need to change that sounder to Sammy pronounces the Big 3. That's not a bad idea from the 619.
You don't think I can pronounce the Big 3?
No, I think you can pronounce that. But if there's any stories
skiing
anytime about Shalom skiing, which needs to be on a t-shirt sometime very soon, I think you'd have some trouble with it. So where are we going, Sammy?
Let's go to Mel Kiper. It's always draft season.
Sure you said that right?
Mel Kiper? 100%. Come on. My dictation is fantastic, okay?
I need to see a paternity test from Mel Kiper regarding one Sammy Long, because my goodness, the resemblance grows more uncanny every single day.
I look like Mel Kiper?
You got a little Mel Kiper to you.
Well, I mean, listen, maybe I look like Mel Kiper. You know what you look like. I always said you're a sexy Max Muncy. I've always said that about Ben Fletcher.
That is the meanest thing you could ever say to me, Sammy.
I said you were a sexy Max Muncy.
He looks like a troll. He looks like a troll that belongs in a dungeon.
I said you were a sexy Max Muncy. Don't you see the resemblance, YouTube? Like, look at Ben Fletcher. See if that could be Max Muncy's doppelganger. Take the hat off.
I don't want to be Max Muncy's doppelganger. You've heard me to no ends, although it's better than when the text line was calling me Trevor Bauer for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That was a rough one. And that was in the middle of not a great time for Trevor Bauer, if I'm being honest.
T-Bow. Not want to be associated with that.
Text line, my God.
All right. The Raiders, Mel Kiper, though, just released a mock draft. Fernando Mendoza, obviously widely expected to go number 1 to the Raiders. Are you surprised not more head coaches have been interested in the Raiders? Like, you have Harbaugh off the board. You got McDaniel not taking a head coaching job, going to the OC, Saleh going to Tennessee. Are you surprised that there are not more coaches interested in taking over the Raiders job and having the number 1 overall pick and Heisman winner at the helm?
I saw it earlier. I meant to send it to you so I could save it for myself, and I didn't. So I'm going to try to do this off the top of my head. I may get something wrong here. The Las Vegas Raiders, there's no team in football, not even the Cleveland Browns, by the way, not even the Cleveland Browns, who have had more head coaches and more losses over the last, I believe, decade than the Las Vegas Raiders. You realize that's 4 straight seasons now where there's going to be a new head coach for day one of an NFL season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Job security is bad with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I do think that goes into account when somebody's looking at taking a job or not taking a job. They just hired a Hall of Famer in Pete Carroll to what everybody knew was going to be a bad team. The team was bad, and they still fired him. They are in flux right now. Pete Carroll, a Hall of Famer, gets 1 year when everyone knows you're going to suck and you suck, and he gets fired the year after. What does that mean for the next guy coming in?
Don't you feel like he was a scapegoat, though?
Of course I feel like he was a scapegoat. Yes, but John Gruden was the last guy with the Raiders who lasted more than 1 year. It's a tough place to be right now.
I do feel like it's lame that they did this to Pete, but they got an adult in the room. They knew they would suck for a year, and they set up this pick, to set up the number 1 overall pick. Now, I think what's keeping this job from being more attractive is the division. Denver's obviously playing an AFC championship game. They're young, not going anywhere. Mahomes is coming back. You know, the Chiefs are going to be gearing up, ready to go. And Mike McDaniel's now the OC with the Chargers. The Chargers also have a lot of talent. Will be returning both tackles. So it's the Raiders have a lot of pieces. If the Raiders were not in the AFC West, the Raiders are dropped in the NFC South. You'd be like, oh, that's a super attractive job. You kidding me? Brock Bowers, Jency, Max Crosby, get a Mold Mendoza, number 1 overall pick. You got Brady in the ownership group, some young talent on both sides of the ball. Like, they are a team that has a lot of talent. You just know that your 6 division games are brutal. That's not even counting the division you're playing. It's an uphill battle. I think that's why the job hasn't been more attractive. But like, I'm surprised Mike McDaniel wasn't more into that job. I really am, because of being the offensive guru. There's a lot of weapons to work with there. Kevin Stefanski, like, going to Atlanta, I'm surprised he wasn't more interested in it. I'm surprised there's not more interest in the Raider job.
To your point, it's tough walking into a room knowing you're going to be literally on the same level as Sean Payton, Andy Reid, and Jim Harbaugh. Like, it's tough going into that situation and thinking, okay, well, how many times a year am I going to have to outperform these guys? And how many years do I have to do that? I don't see that happening in the next 2 years. So I'm probably going to lose my job if I sign on with the Raiders. It's a tough situation, man. And I don't envy it. But the Raiders are in a kind of good spot right now for the first time in what feels like a decade. Who can they get to come in there and turn it around?
Let's head to Major League Baseball. The Mets land Luis Robert Jr. in a trade last night. And Cody Bellinger re-signs with the Yankees for 5 years, $162.5 million. What team right now, the spring training, a month from kicking off, pitchers and catchers reporting in 3 weeks, would you say is the biggest threat to the Dodgers right now?
I don't think there is one. I honestly don't. Like, I get cool. Yankees signed Cody Bellinger for another 5 years. Cool. Mets have spent a bunch of money. Cool. The Padres are, standing by. Cool. The Phillies are re-signing guys. Cool. I don't think that there's a single threat to the Dodgers. I think this is a boring MLB season. I think the Dodgers roll through everybody, and we'll see if there's somebody out there.
Do you think so, though? Because
yes, I think so.
I feel like people are forgetting that although the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, the Dodgers each of the last 2 years,
I know,
were a game away from the Padres eliminating them.
Sure. Blue Jays almost had them.
And the Blue Jays should have had them. They didn't.
I heard Jeff Passan talking about this the other day. I actually thought it was the smartest Jeff Passan has sounded in a long time. He said Major League Baseball teams and their fans like to have hope going into a season. And right now, there is only one team that has hope. Everybody else would be kind of silly to think that their team is going to go win a World Series right now, unless you are a fan of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's the reason baseball is heading to a lockout.
The Dodgers should be the favorite in the shortest odds in a long time. I believe they're plus 230 right now to win.
Manfred has to be looking around the league and saying, oh, we have a problem here. There's a bunch of fan bases who think that they have absolutely no shot coming into this season, and there's one fan base that thinks they're going to win it all.
The Mets are interesting, and I know that they've went through some changes, but their starting pitching has kind of been the reason for their downfall the last few years. Soto, Lindor had a little bit of a down season last year. Some of the guys on that team, like Vientos, kind of has been growing recently. The Mets getting in would be interesting. I like what they did getting Luis Robert Jr. there. The Yankees obviously have the big bats and Bellinger and Judge. But, baseball's tricky. Baseball's like hockey, where we've seen in hockey teams that are not very good, that get in as a wild card, and they have a hot goaltender, and they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. We saw this with the Diamondbacks 2-3 years ago. Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly were like the two best pitchers in baseball down the stretch. They go to the World Series. I'm not saying that's going to happen with the Dodgers. I just think with the NL West being so stacked, I think the Padres are finishing like 3rd to 4th right now. If I'm in all honesty, I think the Giants and the Diamondbacks are getting really good. I think the Diamondbacks probably finish 2nd, and the Giants and the Padres right now are fighting for that 3rd spot. It's just such a crapshoot when you get in the playoffs that I do think, despite the fact that the Dodgers have a loaded roster, I think this whole no one has a shot, I think we're misremembering the last 2 years.
No, I know, but it's kind of silly to think that stuff like that could happen on January 21st. Of course, things happen over the course of a season where we could absolutely see someone pop up, and maybe a team gets crazy hot heading right into the postseason that the Dodgers just run into a buzzsaw. But right now, no, I don't think any other team has a shot. All right, we're going to save big three, number 3 for the other side. 858 texting in, saying Fletch, Sammy basically just called you hot for a greasy sludge troll. Max Muncy is horrid. That's a backhanded compliment. There was no compliment whatsoever. That was just mean.
Hey, he's a good hitter.
That was no, he sucks. I hate Max Muncy. That was like the worst thing you could have ever said to me, Sammy. You have hurt me deeply, and we better win long shots tonight. Is all I'm saying.
Listen, honesty can hurt sometimes.
I don't think I look like Max Muncy at all.
I said you look like a sexy Max Muncy.
Yeah, but do you realize how mean that sounds?
I think it's rude how rude you're being to Max Muncy's appearance. You're just.
I do not have Max Muncy ears. They literally are.
Well, take the headphones off. Let's see.
Not Max Muncy ears. They're round at the top, Sammy.
I mean, there's some elf action going on right there.
I am not going to Mordor. Max Muncy is. He's a hobbit. That's what's happening here.
Don't be so mean to Max Muncy. Just said you look like someone.
He has vampire teeth, Sammy. I don't have those. This isn't Twilight.
Well, I mean,
he hit 243 last year, too. Come on. You know I'd be a 300 hitter. You know I would be a 300 hitter. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, those tickets for Charlie Puth are coming up in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer is going to take over then. I know there's plenty of you out there, so for my fellow 49ers fans, John Lynch confirmed today that Brandon Ayuk has played his final snap with the San Francisco 49ers, something we all knew. Kyle Shanahan saying earlier today he would be shocked if the team traded Mac Jones, so allow all the offseason rumors about how Brock Purdy's a schmuck, how Mac Jones should be starting, to continue as expected. So here we go, Sammy, heading into another glorious offseason. Can't wait for it.
I'm excited for it.
I know you are. All right, we got big UFC coming up this weekend. This is the first time in our lifetimes that you will not have to pay for a UFC main event,
Very
card.
exciting.
How exciting is that, man? And they loaded it up for us. This is UFC 324. I do think Sammy and I might be the only show in Southern California that talks about UFC as much as we do. But we're looking forward to it in a big way. Patty the Batty Pimblett's going to be fighting Justin Gaethje. Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean, who took the world by storm. It has fallen off a little bit as of late. It has a fight against Yadong. And then Derek Lewis, who has maybe the most special moment in UFC history. One of my favorite sound bites ever to play on any show I've been a part of. Sammy, go ahead and give me a little Derek Lewis.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot.
My balls was hot. Derek Lewis, you are a king. We love you, and I cannot wait to watch you fight this weekend. He's a big boy, too. This is a great card, Sammy, for their first one on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, they got some fun matchups. Like in this card, the UFC is really hoping. Obviously, it's going to Paramount Plus, which is fun. You're not boxing and UFC for years has been hamstrung by the fact you got to pay $80 a fight, and also it left people, if the fights weren't great, if it was kind of a dud of a fight, if it was one-sided, people are like, all right, well, I just paid $80. I might not be wanting to pay that the next time, or that's expensive. Like if you're a fan of combat sports, you were chipping out a couple $100 a month to watch all these fights. It's fun now with Paramount Plus. You're going to get all the fights for free. UFC 324 and then 325 next weekend. This card is going to be fun. Like Gaethje has always been an all-action fighter. He always makes great fights. He's never really, he's lost against some of the top-tier competition, but been a perennial UFC champion. Patty Pimblett and Sean O'Malley on the same card were both kind of two guys.
Are they the next guy?
Right. They were like supposed to succeed Conor McGregor. Those two guys sold. Patty Pimblett has had a huge following. Been on a lot of podcasts. People like him.
He's been in this studio.
Sean O'Malley was kind of the hard hitting. He could talk. He's from Arizona. He's from Phoenix. Like people really kind of got behind Sean O'Malley. So we'll see if these guys can kind of ascend to the next level. But I'm just stoked in general that we're going to get UFC. You don't have to pay all this money. You can watch kind of guys' careers develop. And I think it just brings more eyeballs to the sport, which will be very fun for you and I, because we love talking about it.
We can be honest. We don't have to get viruses on our computer anymore.
Yeah. Or crazy ads that
sometime when you're airplane to your TV pop up at pretty bad moments every once in a while. Many questions have been asked about that, but this is cool, man. I'm glad that the UFC and Dana White has decided to go this direction. And I think in a large part and in a weird way, we sort of have Jake Paul to thank for this. I think about what Jake Paul has done to the combat world. He has been able to make things free to the general public, or if you have a Netflix subscription, you can watch it. And he sort of provided the UFC with the model that you could still make money on this. And based on the amount of streams that you get from this, and it also gave an actual number versus the UFC, which has always had to counteract pirating. It's one of the most heavily streamed sports illegally on the planet. And so they've had to counteract the fact with advertisers that they don't have a real number to give you of how many people are watching. Now you're going to get the real number, no matter what. You can obviously guesstimate on the bars around the country who are going to be playing it, and you've had to do that anyways. But in terms of households with this on, you're going to get a legit number to go to advertisers with. And this is how Jake Paul has made his company into something worth almost $1 billion at this point, based on these exact things. So good for the UFC. I'm excited for this weekend. Sean O'Malley, I was like, oh yeah, this is our next guy. This is our next superstar. And then he's fallen off a little bit, but he can get it back. He's been injured. He's had a broken foot. Remember, he went into a fight with a broken foot. And Patty Pimblett, the dude is electric.
Right, and O'Malley's only lost to Merab, and Merab's a great fighter, whatever you think of him. Like it's a weird stylistic matchup.
Boring fighter, but a great fighter.
Right, he wants to wrestle. O'Malley wants to stand there and trade. This should be an all-action-packed weekend, and it's just really cool that people are going to be able to. It's accessible. You're not paying $80 a month for this. And I think he's launching his new boxing thing on Friday as well, Zuffa Boxing on the same Paramount Plus. So combat sports are really, I think, gonna grow here in the next year or two with Paramount Plus.
Tune into the Long Count with Sammy Long. Is that the name?
Yeah, we might have a announcement coming up soon.
Ooh, I like that. That's called a tease. I am pissed that Muscle Mommy and Amanda Nunez aren't fighting on this card. That sucks, but that one's been postponed.
619 said those ads almost ruined a relationship.
Dude, I swear to God, those ads have ruined a family dinner. Like it's happened before. Yeah, everyone knows what I'm talking about when you're less than legally streaming a game and then all of a sudden something pops up like, are you alone right now? No, I'm not alone right now. Get it off my TV. Woo. Lots of questions.
Hey,
lots of questions.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm with my boys. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Eric Williams is joining us coming up next here on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. Aztecs taking on Grand Canyon tonight at 8 o'clock. Grand Canyon is a 1.5 point favorite at home with the point total set at 143.5. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Schaefer will get you going at 8. Fletch gets you pregame starting at 7. The AFC West has 2 new offensive coordinators. Mike McDaniel's on his way to the Chargers to take over the offense with Justin Herbert. Eric Bieniemy is back in Kansas City after Matt Nagy will be going elsewhere. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card they become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
San Diego Sports 760 Aztecs hoops coming up tonight, 8 o'clock tip off between Grand Canyon and San Diego State. Pregame coverage will get going at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Going to be a good one tonight out at GCU. With that, we welcome on Eric Williams. E-Dub, what's going on, my man? Good to talk to you. How are things?
Things are good, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
We're happy to have you. Eric is covering the NFL for NFL on Fox. He covers the NFC quite a bit. We got the NFC Championship coming up this weekend between the Rams and the Seahawks. But Eric, I did want to start here because I know we have a shared passion. You like the game of golf. I like the game of golf. And I'm actually planning a trip for right after college basketball season is done for here in San Diego, where we're going to try to do 4 courses in 4 days. So what is your number one San Diego golf course, Eric Williams?
It would have to be Torrey. I think I've had, the most fun out there. I like playing Admiral Baker. If you've ever played it, it's a military course, but the public is allowed to get on there. It's easy to get on, so I would definitely throw that in my top 5, just in terms of ease of getting a tee time.
That North Course at Admiral Baker is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is so much fun to play. And you do feel like it's a little bit bigger than just you going out there because it is a military base and you're playing with a bunch of military guys. All right, E-Dub, let's get to the NFL. Weird NFC weekend in the divisional round. That Chicago Bears LA Rams game felt like it was drunk at different times. I saw Caleb Williams make one of the greatest throws I've ever seen anyone make in my life. But what'd you make of that game and how the Rams ended up advancing?
Yeah, I thought the Rams would win that game. I thought it'd be close. You're right. The Williams throw there at the end on 4th down was ridiculous. Only a few guys can make that throw. But for me, the reason I thought that the Rams were going to win that game is their ability to close out games with their defense and their ability to create pressure with just their front 4 and to force opposing quarterbacks into bad throws. And that's ultimately what happened in overtime. They're able to get Caleb to throw an interception there late in order to get the win on the road. And they're going to be facing the guy in Sam Darnold this week. They picked him off 4 times in LA, had a couple more picks in Seattle in the game that they lost in overtime. And I think that's going to be a key for the Rams if they want to win that game on the road, is they're going to have to steal a couple possessions.
Seattle loses a Charbonnet to injury against the Niners. How big of a factor do you think that is in the NFC title game?
It's a huge factor for them because of his ability to get into the end zone near the goal line. I believe he was leading them in rushing touchdowns. Kenneth Walker is playing better for them in the second half of the season. He, of course, had 116 yards in that game last week against the Niners. But now who's going to be the kind of that 1-2 punch to replace Charbonnet in that lineup? They're going to have to find somebody to be able to spell Walker so they don't use him too much. It's a big loss for them going in this game.
At EDub NFL 22 on X. You can find him there. Eric is covering the NFL for NFL on Fox. Eric, the other side of that game, the San Francisco 49ers, obviously a disappointing end, but one that a lot of people saw coming given the injuries and everything they had this year. But what does the future look like for San Francisco? They're in kind of an interesting spot, I think, because it felt like that team that played against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a couple years ago may have been their best bet as it's currently constituted. Are we headed for a little bit of a rebuild with the Niners?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we thought this year was going to be that, and turns out that they were able to get to the postseason with an undermanned roster, which just kind of speaks to Shanahan's ability to lead a team. Now he's not just an X's and O's guy, but he's a guy that has the ability to carry a team into the postseason. With who he is as a coach. So I don't think it's a rebuild for them. I think they'll add pieces. Obviously they're going to get a healthy Bosa and Moore back, so that's going to help them out defensively. I'm interested to see who they're going to bring in as defensive coordinator because of the jobs that Salah did. I know Gus Bradley is there as a senior assistant. I don't know if they hire in-house or if they look to bring somebody from outside the organization. But I feel like talent-wise, even though they're getting older, I feel like this team that still can compete in the NFC West.
Ben Johnson mentioned today that for Caleb Williams and the receivers next year, they got to get on the same page. I'm curious, just your opinion. Who would you take in the NFC next year, Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels?
I would take Caleb Williams in the way that they're playing right now. I think, again, they have some changes happening in Washington, specifically at offensive coordinator, so we don't know what that's going to look like. They've had trouble keeping Jaden Daniels healthy, so they have to figure that piece out. And then it's an older roster in Washington that they need to turn over and get younger. So I think they're farther away than the Bears are right now. Bears probably play in a tougher division, but I disagree with their head coach. I think they can build on what they did, this season and take some of that momentum and have that propel them into next year and continue to add pieces for Caleb. And I expect Caleb to be better too. So I would take the Bears there.
Eric Williams joining us. He covers the NFL for NFL on Fox. But Eric, you spent 7-8 seasons covering the Chargers for ESPN down here in San Diego. They make a big move, bringing in Mike McDaniel to be their next offensive coordinator. There's stories out there that he had head coaching offers, but decides to go join Jim Harbaugh in the coaching staff with the Chargers. What do you think about the move?
I'm saying it right now. I think it's the number one move for any team in the offseason in terms of the impact that it's going to have. He's one of the most innovative offensive minds in the league. So the fact that the Chargers are able to get this guy and pair him with Justin Herbert, who's probably one of the most physically gifted throwers in the league. I think we're going to see Justin at his best in this offense. I think they're going to do a better job of protecting him and not putting the whole onus on Herbert to carry the offense and give him some layups in terms of throws. Hopefully they're able to figure out how to keep their offensive line healthy. There's enough playmakers on offense. So I think it's a huge move in terms of what the Chargers can do within that division. And then finally, let's get a postseason win here next year.
What do you make of Sean McDermott getting fired in Buffalo and the whole Terry Pagula comments today about Brandon Beane getting promoted? What do you make of that whole situation? Do you think it was the right move?
I think so. I think it was similar to Pittsburgh and Baltimore that it had kind of run its course there with McDermott, and you needed a new voice to come in and lead them. I'm not sure about the mechanics of, making Beane the team president in charge of everything. I don't know if he's deserving of that, but I'm not the owner. So that's the decision that he chose to make. I think somebody that makes a lot of sense is Brian Dable, because he was there in the past. Josh Allen had a lot of success when Dable was in charge of that offense. He's from the area, understands what that team means to that area and that town, and already has a relationship with people within the building. So I would look for him to be involved in some capacity there, whether it's as the head coach or potentially as an offense coordinator.
All right, Eric, AFC, NFC championships coming up this weekend. And unless Phillip Rivers comes walking out of that tunnel, it appears that Denver's going to be going with Jarrett Stidham as the starting quarterback. How much do you think that hurts Denver's chances to get to a Super Bowl?
Significant. He hasn't played, so we just don't know how he's going to go out there and perform. So it's a big deal. And obviously you've seen the point swings. I think they're 6-point underdogs at home now. So that's what Vegas thinks about it in terms of, Bo Nix being replaced by Stidham. He did throw for a lot of yards though when he played for the Raiders. At the end of the season, I think it's when they benched Garoppolo. So he has the ability to push the ball down the field. Obviously, Peyton thinks highly of him. It was one of the first free agent moves that he made when he took over as the head coach there. He's not as athletic as Nix, so you're going to lose that. But he's athletic enough, I think, to make some second reaction throws. But I think it's more about how much rest is he going to have early in the game? Are they going to be able to keep the game close? And then how is he going to execute in situational moments, red zone, third down at the end of the game? Those are all unknowns, and I think that's why you would think New England would come out victorious in that game.
Sam Darnold has, before the season been heavily criticized for not getting it done in big moments. Do you think he's already proven all the doubters wrong with the win over the Niners? Or do you think he has to beat the Rams to get to the Super Bowl?
I think he does have to beat the Rams to prove the doubters nationally wrong. But I think more importantly, the people inside that locker room trust him as a person that could get it done, and believe in him, that he'll help them in those situations where he has to perform, and being around that team a little bit this year. So they believe in him. He's their guy. He believes in himself that he can come through in those moments. He did it against the Rams in the second game, although he played, awful really the first 3 quarters of that game. He didn't have to do anything last week because that game was basically over once, Rashid ran back that kickoff return at the opening of the game. But he's going to have to make some big boy throws, I think, against the Rams for the Seahawks to win. And I think he's capable of that.
It is funny. The oblique storyline seemed to just go away. There were a couple times where he got up slow against the 49ers, but it was such a thing going into the game. I wonder if it's the same situation this week for Sam Darnold. You have any insight on the oblique?
Yeah, I talked to some players in the locker room, and they felt it was overblown. They didn't have any doubt that he was going to play. He spent some extra time in the locker room warming up because I think they wanted to wait as long as possible to give him that total shot to make sure that it would last through the game. So he actually warmed up initially inside the locker room and then came out with the entire team on pads and warmed up. So I think he's ready to go, and I don't expect that to be an issue in this game.
All right, Eric. Good stuff, man. EDub NFL 22 on X. You can find him there. Follow along. Are you going to be at the NFC Championship game, Eric?
Will not be up there. We'll have another colleague up there, but I will be at the Super Bowl.
Right on. Eric Williams, man, living the dream. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate your time as always.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Eric Williams. Find him on social, EDub NFL 22. You could also see his work at the NFL on Fox. Eric's been covering them for a few years now. All right, at San Diego Sports 760, we got a text that I unfortunately must respond to, Sammy, coming in about a pronunciation of a certain
finally
UFC
Ben's getting called out for pronunciation.
Yeah, but I was right. I'll tell you what it is coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a final time here today. We will be back tomorrow. I will be back later on tonight, 7 o'clock. Getting you ready for San Diego State taking on Grand Canyon at GCU. Big game tonight for the Aztecs, who have a chance to catapult a little bit, if I may say so. So we'll see how that goes later on tonight. No Magoon Guath for the Aztecs, but we'll see how they can kind of counteract Grand Canyon's home court advantage. Now, the text line, who had a brilliant idea earlier today saying we should do a new segment, make Sammy pronounce things. I thought that was hilarious. That was a well-crafted text from the 619. It was a great idea. Now the 913 is getting on me for pronunciations, which I will admit has been a weakness in my past as well. But the 913 asked, did Fletch just call a fighter the name Your Dong? No, I did not call a fighter that. Sugar Sean O'Malley this weekend is fighting against Song Yadong. That's his name. Sammy, did I say it weird? That is his name. Am I right?
Yes.
He is an excellent fighter in the UFC.
That will be getting clipped because it will be taken out of context and we will edit that into a drop.
That's his name, Sammy. That's not my fault. 913. I don't know. I feel like you need to do a little bit of research here.
By the way, drops are coming back on this show.
Are they?
They are.
Like what? You had a couple more you want to run through?
No. They got to come up naturally.
Or is it just going to be rush hour drop? Is that all we got?
That's not from rush hour, by the way. That's from Friday.
Oh, that's right.
That's when Miss Parker across the street?
Yeah.
Damn.
Ice Cube. Good stuff.
All-time film, by the way.
All right. We're going to wrap this thing up here on San Diego Sports 760. I do realize I made a mistake. Charlie Puth tickets we're going to give away right now on our way out the door. Sammy's going to have to rush to get in some information.
You're really making this hard. We had to transition to John's show.
It's going to work just wonderfully, Sammy. Just you wait. 877-767-4760 on our way out the door. If you would like a pair of tickets to go see Charlie Puth at Viejas Arena coming up on April 22nd, right now is the time to call, or you can go to Ticketmaster.com to buy tickets, but we're going to give away a pair of tickets to caller number
11.
You're going to go see Charlie Puth. And we will make sure we get all the information. I could use my computer over here, Sammy, to make it a little bit easier on the transition that we have coming
you big
up.
C Puth guy?
Big Charlie Puth guy. It's been a long time since I've seen you, my friend. And I think it'll be a while till I see you again. Excellent moment in movie history. All right, before we get out of here, Aztecs, Grand Canyon tonight. Sammy, do you have the betting line in this game?
Well, it's Grand Canyon's favored by 1.5. Aztecs opened as 1.5 point favorites, though, so it swung 3 points.
Honestly, that feels about right to me. If you haven't been paying attention to what Grand Canyon has done this year, they do have 6 losses on the season, which you may raise an eyebrow at. However, they're incredible at home, and they have been for the last couple of years. They actually might have one of the better NIL programs in the entire Mountain West when it comes to basketball. It's a private school, tons of funding, and Grand Canyon's been really killing it in basketball over the last handful of years. It's a big part of why the Mountain West extended the invite to them, hoping they'll be one of the pillars of the next iteration of the Mountain West after this season when a bunch of teams leave. Grand Canyon is a very, very good home team. It is a tough place to play. San Diego State's going to have to be near perfect tonight, especially with the news that Magoon Guath will be missing tonight's game. For plenty more on that, I direct you to John Schaefer. And Sammy, I noticed your computer set up. Are you hanging out with Schaefer?
I will be hanging out for the first hour.
First hour of the show, John Schaefer, Sammy Long. Jay Riff is going to be taking over at some point here, and then I'll be back with you at 7 o'clock tonight, getting you ready for Aztecs and Grand Canyon. Great show today, everyone. Thank you for your participation.
Call now for Steve Puth tickets.
On the text line, on the talkback mic, and everything you do. We appreciate you. John Schaefer next. Call now for Charlie Puth tickets, 877-767-4760.